Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Ride Asylum with Kay Inley and Emily Walker. Today we have a very special guest. We have marketing guru Rachel Thompson from Bad Redhead Media. Say hello, Rachel.
Hello, Rachel. Hi, everybody.
We're so happy to have you. I've been really excited to get to this day because we just followed your 30-day marketing challenge, and
Mhm.
it was amazing. So I can't wait to talk about that.
Yeah.
But first, we always like to talk about what's new in writing or publishing in our lives. How are things going for you, Emily?
They're going pretty good. I am working on editing the book that's supposed to come out on the 22nd, so I'm just kind of trying to stay on that every day. That's next to me, the NA romantic drama that's a standalone or is supposed to be. And other than that, I'm just promoting Zombie Face, which did okay. We had a sale when Zombie was free, so it's doing all right. How about you, Kenya? How are you doing?
That's good to hear. I'm excited to see your new book come out.
Me too.
Well, for me, right now I'm trying to keep my focus on one thing versus several because I have a deadline for the sequel to Rise of the Flame, which did really well in February. It reached number 2 in the US for fantasy, number 1 in Canada and Australia, and it was really exciting to
Great.
be right there by Harry Potter. I couldn't beat Harry Potter in the US though, but that's
Uh,
okay. I'm okay with
Well,
that.
you were in good company still.
Huh? What did you
You were
say?
in good company.
Yeah, I was in good company, making up plans for a little bit. So right now I'm working on the sequel because I am getting constant messages, people asking when is it going to be out. I'm so late, but I'm excited. I'm working on that right now, and we should see a release date for April 26th. So
Nice.
there you go.
Great.
How are things? What about you, Rachel?
Well, right now, I direct the Gravity imprint, and so almost the entire group of books. We have 17 books out right now, and about 14 of us have books that are on sale for $2.99. Normally, we're anywhere from priced $4.99 up to $7.99. So the ebooks are all on sale on Amazon, including my Broken Pieces and Broken Places. And Broken Pieces right now has been on the number 1 spot on women's poetry since almost like November. So it's still there, and I'm really excited about that. It did go free for a couple days, the beginning of March, and that, of course, seems to help entrench that ranking. But it didn't really move from that number 1 spot. It's number 2 on women authors, and last I checked, it's number 14 on memoirs in all of Amazon paid, which is really exciting. And for a couple of hours, I actually was beating Donald Trump, which was awesome.
Oh man.
I love
If-
it. Yeah, it's funny. You have to like. It's so exciting when that happens, and like it updates hourly. So you're
Yeah,
like, am I gonna miss something while I'm asleep?
I know. I took a screenshot of that and shared that on Facebook, and people were like, "Yeah."
I know. I saw that. Congratulations. That's
Thank
so
you.
awesome. It's so good to hold that spot for so long.
Yeah.
It's such a hard thing to do. So, man, congrats.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. So now I'm really just working on Broken Places, which is the second book in the series, and just really trying to. I mean, it's doing well. It's in the top 5, but I really want to get it down there.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, you guys have to check out her books. They have such beautiful covers and such, critical acclaim. We'll definitely
Yeah.
put the link for those on the website as well as all of her social media. But yeah, let's get into your marketing background and what got you started as a writer. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I started writing at the age of 10, but and that really helped me going through school. And my major in college was communication studies, and my minor was journalism. But then right out of college, I ended up in sales and marketing with Big Pharma and did that for 17 years and kind of hated it. But what I learned from marketing has been invaluable in moving into publishing. So I quit doing pharma in 2004 and focused on family and had 2 kids. And but blogging, of course, really kind of exploded in the early 2000s, and I jumped on that in about 2007, 2008. Started writing some professional articles, had an Examiner gig like a lot of people, and really found that writing was my first love, and enjoyed that I could write and also focus on being a mom. Ah, there's your dog. But what I understood was that I needed to develop a platform so people could find my blog, because there were millions of blogs out there. So that's where I was able to take writing and marketing and understanding how to make my blog visible, and I really got a feel for the importance of social media at that point. So I joined Twitter and Facebook, and I really just studied it and researched how to use them as part of a platform, as opposed to just talking about what I had for lunch, and really focused on building relationships. And that's where my pharma background became very useful, because I understood back then that it wasn't just hold up the the circular and say, okay, doctor, you need to buy my drug because A, B, and C. That they hated that. It was more about going in and saying, hey, how are things with your wife? I heard she wasn't feeling well, or bring donuts to the receptionist because that would get me in the door. It was all about building those relationships, and it's really no different now as authors using social media to build those relationships, because that's how you connect with your readers. And so my goal now, building my own business with Bad Redhead Media, which I started in 2011, is to try and get that message across to authors as well, because that's obviously been very successful for me as an author.
Yeah, that's such good advice, and I totally agree with you. That's the fun part about Twitter. And I admit that for a long time I was so anti-Twitter because I just didn't get it. And this was when it was kind of new, and I was like, oh, it's just a way for people to like stalk you. But then once I got on there, it was amazing. I met one of my best friends, one of my editor friends on Twitter. We live in the same state, in the same city, and we like go to lunch like every week.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, the Grammar Babe. She's awesome. Check her out. Yeah, so like there's so many people that we've met on Twitter and Facebook that are becoming like lifelong friends. So
yeah,
it's so important to just build those relationships, like you said. Yeah, so tell us a little bit more about your writing background. You said you started it when you were 10.
I
did. You first get published?
Well, actually, my very first published article was in college. One of my journalism classes was magazine writing, and so we had to write a query and actually send it out. And I was the only one in the class who got something accepted, and so I sent that out, and I think I got paid $50, but it was really exciting, and so I was kind of hooked from there. So I did a few magazine articles while I was, in college. Excuse me. And then, like I said, I really at that point then graduated and focused more on being a sales rep, and then I quickly went into marketing and training. And what was interesting, though, was a lot of what I did within pharma had to do with writing, because I would create training programs and I would work with the marketing team, and then I became part of marketing and advertising. And so without even realizing it, I was using those skills, and that was probably the only part of the job that I actually enjoyed. And then I came back out and went into sales and training out in the field, and I couldn't do it. It just was soul sucking for me. And eventually I just said, that's it, I'm done. And I knew I always wanted to write a book. And blogging became a way for me to kind of almost write chapters of, it was nonfiction, about family life and marriage and relationships, and it really just started from there. And then eventually my first 2 books are humor books, A Walk in the Snark and The Man Code Exposed. And they were based on the blog that I initially started. And some parts of them were very serious because I lost an ex-boyfriend to suicide. Bless you.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. So I kind of went back through, I had always kept journals. I went back through some of the journals to look at some of our relationship and to kind of come to grips with the grief of losing somebody that I had been so close to at one point. And that really opened me up and got me talking about broken pieces, what's in broken pieces and broken places, which really focuses on the fact that I was sexually abused when I was 11 by a neighbor, a dad who had 5 kids, and then the fact that I ended up testifying in trials against him and ended up having to live next door to him and his family for another 8 years, and the effects that that had on me. So, and not even realizing or understanding that, because this was the late 70s, you know, people didn't talk about things. It just was swept under the rug. And it wasn't until I had my own baby, my daughter, who's now almost 17, that I went into a depression and had anxiety leaving her. And it all kind of came to a head as to why this was happening. And so I felt compelled to write about this, because I figured I'm not the only person that this has happened to. And that's where those books really, you know, generated from those kinds of feelings. And so that's where I focused. But along the way, I was writing articles and putting those out, because I think article writing is really helpful, because you're reaching a different audience. Some people just aren't book readers. And so I was putting those out as well. And then really that's how I have a gig writing for Huffington Post. I write for Indie Reader, I write for Feminine Collective, I write for Good Men Project. So I think it's, you know, from a perspective of an author, it's helpful that people will recognize your name and be like, wait, doesn't she write books too? Okay, or vice versa. So it's from a marketing perspective, it's a good idea to just keep doing that to get your name out.
Yeah, good advice. Good advice. Did you, when you first started out on your publication journey, did you start off with looking for an agent, directly to a publisher, or did you indie publish?
Well, I think every author has that dream of being published by Simon & Schuster. You know, but self-publishing was exploding when I was, you know, it was 2010 when I was thinking about putting my blog posts together, and I had connected with a group of other authors who were very knowledgeable about self-publishing. Hybrid publishing really didn't exist at that time. You know, really it was more vanity publishing, and I knew I didn't want to go that route. And I actually was contacted, this is interesting, I was contacted on Twitter by 2 agents. And I took meetings with both of them. I was at BEA in New York City. I mean, I really put myself out there to try and make connections. And one of the gals said, you know, I'd really like to see you have a much bigger platform first. I love your writing. She had read The Man Code Exposed. She'd already read my books. You just never know who's watching you, is the message, right? And she said, I love your voice on Twitter. She said, but I really want to see you blog more regularly. I want to see you have a bigger platform on Twitter, as well as Google Plus, and you know, Pinterest was just starting. And she said, I just think you need to be more well-rounded. And I had no idea this gal was even watching me, and this was somebody from a very well-respected agency of primarily nonfiction. And she said, let's talk in a year. Let's see what you're writing. And at that point, I had just sort of had the germ of an idea to write Broken Pieces. And so I let her know about it, and she really wanted to promote me more as a humor writer, which wasn't the direction I was going. So while I appreciated her advice, it wasn't the direction I wanted. So, we'd never had an agreement, but I appreciated her more as a mentor, and she really helped me grow. The other gal was actually with Simon & Schuster and ended up leaving, and we're still in touch today. She writes blurbs for me. I'm actually reading a book of hers right now. She co-wrote a book with another writer, and nothing ever became of it. She just stopped being an agent. So I decided at that point I would just go my own way, self-published my first 2 books, which I did, and that got the attention of Book Trope, which is a hybrid publisher. Mm-hmm. And as you guys know, or at least, are you with Book Trope, Emily?
I'm not, just saying.
Okay. So that's where I ended up, and I love the model. I love the fact that they, you have to submit your work, and they decide whether it's good enough or not. They pay for everything up front, so it's not in any way a vanity publisher. And they help with marketing, not fully. I mean, I think anybody who is in publishing at this point has to accept that the marketing is on them. Even if you're with a big 5, you still are responsible for the majority of your marketing.
It's very true.
That's so funny, because the reason that I am with Book Trope is because Rachel posted on her fan page, or her Facebook page, that her publisher was accepting new
submissions.
Scripts.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna do it, and it worked out. So thanks, Rachel.
You're welcome. I love it. I'm really happy there. Some people I think expect that they're going to do everything for them, and I think that's really naive to think that any publisher will do everything for you. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah. It's very true.
Yeah.
And it also is a lot of people's thought that once they get a publisher, that's it, they're going to go bigger, but it's just not like that.
No. And I have clients, my company is Bad Redhead Media, and I have clients who are Big 5, and they're hiring me because their publisher is not doing all that stuff for them. They don't do any of your social media. They do very little marketing, and these are for some really big clients. They do signings. They set up signings, and they send you here and send you there, which is mostly PR. As for marketing, it's still on the author. I mean, unless you're, like Stephen King or something, and even then, he's doing his own, Twitter, Yeah. So I just think it's really naive for people to not take it seriously as a business and invest that kind of effort and time. To say, I just want to write is almost cute at this point, It's like, oh sweetie. You're so cute.
Bless your heart.
Yeah, bless your heart, right?
Yeah.
So you did your blog, and you started it a while ago, so I'm not sure if this was a big thing back then, but did you have to do any kind of search engine optimization? Have you had to do that throughout to get people to your blog, or was it more social media advertisement at all?
It's everything. I am personally not a web guru kind of person, so I hired somebody. I mean, I really just started on Blogger, like a lot of people, just like, oh, okay, it's easy, boom, start. This was for my personal rachelintheoc.com. And then I met a gal through one of, as we meet people online, who said, almost like, oh, bless your heart kind of thing, sweetie, let's get you up to speed because you are a good writer and you need people to find you on Google and you need better SEO. And I was like, sitting in her knee like, what? Like, I had no idea. So, you know, everybody's there at some point. So I hired her. I paid her good money to create a WordPress.org blog for me, which is so much better than free Blogger or free WordPress. And it makes a huge difference. And I think, you know, she wasn't a lot of money, and I'm happy to, you know, she actually is. I got her, same thing. I told her, you are so smart. You need to write these books to help authors. And her name's Barb Drozdowicz, which people won't remember. But she goes by Sugar Beet BC because she's in British Columbia. And she's written a ton of books about helping authors with, she's a book blogger. So she says, here's how you work with book bloggers, and here's how you set up your website. And, you know, I hired her, and to this day, she still helps me with my SEO because she understands how to put all that stuff together. I've learned so much now that I know how to optimize all my blog posts and, you know, put in keywords, and I've basically sat at her knee and learned how to do all this stuff. And then now I read these articles and I understand the importance of it. But I think every author, like I said, it's a business. You need to learn these things.
Yeah, and you can study internet marketing for years, like I have, because I've been trying to do this for 6 years now, and studied it all. I've done it all.
Yeah.
You still kind of have to go with the flow because things change so often for both search engine optimization and rules and social media.
Yes. Yeah. There's constantly updates. Like we were just saying off air on the 30-day marketing challenge that I did for the month of February. Already Twitter and Facebook have done so many updates in the month. I mean, I ended the challenge on February 29th, and today's March 13th. And Facebook's already had 5 updates, so I'm already having to change, because I'm putting the challenge into a book that people can purchase, because a lot of people participated, but a lot of people didn't. So I have to make those updates, and I'm sure by the time I put the book out, it'll already be outdated. But, you know, you can only keep up with so much. So.
They'll still learn about this book for sure.
Yeah.
So what changes have you noticed so far since you did the challenge on the 29th?
Well, with Twitter, for the longest time, you could only be following 2,000 people, and now you can actually follow 5,000 people. The ratio is still the same, though, so you can't be following 10% more than is following you. But it makes it easier for you to grow. The thing that people didn't realize is that you have to follow others to get them to follow you. So yeah, so you have to actively be following other people. With Facebook, they've changed the way that you create ads on your Facebook page. So they actually walk you through a bunch of steps because people were so confused by how to create ads. So that's really helpful. You can add a button at the top now to show a preview of your book, which is really cool. You can actually add a buy pin at the top as well. So you can, say, put your book or whatever your product is at the top with a price and a link, which is really neat.
That is neat. Wow.
Yeah.
And this is your page, right? Your page.
Only on your page. Yeah. The thing about that a lot of people don't realize is that, and I put this in the challenge, you're technically not allowed to use your personal friend's account for any kind of financial or personal gain. So if you're putting your, hey, my book's on sale, here's a link to Amazon on your personal account, they can technically shut down your personal account and you won't get it back. There's no arguing with them. There's no, oh, I didn't mean to. It's too bad. It's gone. So let's say you've spent, you know, I've had that account for probably 7, 8 years, and I have 5,000 friends. Oh, well, you start over.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
When I see people doing that, I get so scared for them.
I do, you know, once in a while, sorry, there's a delay. Once in a while, like yesterday, I posted that thing about how my count, my broken pieces was like #1 over, not #1, but beating Donald Trump. And then I also won an award for Broken Places. It won an honorable mention in the Los Angeles Book Festival. So I was like, you know, yay, like, okay, so I'm so excited. And somebody said, link please. And I was like, oh, gosh, do I link it or not? Because I normally would never provide a link. And so I actually said, if you want to go to my page, the link's over there, or I can PM it to you. Because I just don't want to be in that position where that's the one time I provide a link on my personal page. I'll share a screenshot, but, you know, I just don't want to, you know, I'm a rule follower. What can I say?
The more people that you have following you on social media, the more important that is. Facebook looks at people who have more followers and will shut them down faster than they will somebody who's just starting out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was wondering this. Do you think this applies to like bloggers as well? Like if they post on their personal page something for someone else? Someone else's link or something? Like say your street team starts sharing your link.
Well, you can't control what other people do, right?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say that it applies. I mean, I'm not Facebook, but right. So let's say that you're part of my street team, and every post you post for 2 days is go buy Rachel's book. That's not my responsibility because it's not my page.
Mm-hmm.
But technically, they could come after you. But the question is is there any financial gain for you for doing that?
Yeah.
And
Right.
so that's something they would have to look at.
At their discretion.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Yes, it's so so interesting to, you know, kind of understand all of the new terms and conditions, and yeah.
I have a question.
Sure, Emily.
So, like, does that apply to posting in groups as well? Because, you know, some people will post their links to their sales on Amazon in groups.
Oh,
Groups are, in private groups, you're okay. In public groups, I don't know how that applies, but I know that they're very specific. If you go, I can actually send you the link, and it was in the 30-day challenge too. And I think I actually did it in a Bad Redhead Media post. If you just go to the legal section, it's like section 4.4.
yeah.
We all signed this when we opened our account, which says that we will not use our personal account for you know, financial gain. Now, how that applies to groups, I don't know. That's a very good question. I don't know. If it's a public group, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just curious because I have seen a few bloggers get blocked or shut down, or they can't post for a few days because they posted in too many groups.
I would say in a private or secret group, you're fine because it's you know, private group, private information. I would definitely be careful posting out in a public group.
Yeah.
Good point.
I have so many questions.
You can ask me. You know, we could take this over afterwards to Facebook and start a discussion. I have no issues with that.
That'd be perfect because they're just going through my head now, and I'm thinking all these things that I could ask you, but we only have 30 minutes. So,
yeah.
Okay, can you ask me something else?
No, that's totally cool. I don't know if we're friends on Facebook, so just friend request me or send me a PM.
I'll
Sorry?
find you.
Okay.
I will find you.
I will find you. But my only point there is that Facebook does have to answer to investors, and so the way that they answer to investors is through the page, not through the personal interaction on your friend's account. So they're, basically encouraging you to do whatever it takes to get you to boost ads, to pay for ads. So they're making pages as attractive as possible to get us to spend money.
Right.
And the other final point there is that anything you do on Facebook is not going to show up in Google. So it doesn't help your SEO at all.
Yeah.
But it helps with building relationships. So you kind of have to weigh. Most authors, I just read this in a Pew Research, which I love, pewresearch.org. It's like my favorite site ever because I'm a dork. But it's the best place to find your demographic. So it said that of all the adults that are online in like the whole world, 71% are on Facebook. So clearly we need to be on Facebook. However, from an SEO perspective, how many of those are your demographic, and how many of those are readers will be your readers of your genre? So that's something you have to figure out. Plus, how is that helping your visibility and your Google ranking?
Yeah, very important to think about. I always I find great success with Facebook ads. I've read a few books about how to do them, and it's been a lot of trial and error.
Yeah.
But I always, check out the analytics to see who that ad reached and who it didn't. And that's how you end up with like the perfect formula for an ad. You always have to check out that thing, like see how many women at what age opened it and versus how many men, and then you tweak it. And that's, something that a lot of authors don't utilize because they just don't understand it. But yeah, it's very, very helpful. I haven't tried Twitter ads at all. I've been curious about, seeing how that is. Do you use Twitter ads?
I've used Twitter ads. I'm now trying StumbleUpon ads. I get a huge amount of traffic from StumbleUpon, primarily on my badredheadmedia.com articles. The one that I did in January about like 4 ways to improve your book sales or something. I SEO every headline. I use the CoSchedule headline analyzer, which is free. And I got almost 2,000 views just from StumbleUpon alone.
Nice.
That's like I can get lost on.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible, and I think that it's overlooked often by authors, and it's really easy to use, and a lot of times people don't even have it as part of their plugin for social media. So it's really simple to make sure that you add it, and you just stumble other articles as you're going through your day, and it just builds up people following you. You stumble their stuff, they stumble your stuff, and so it's pretty easy. But I think it's worth trying. Pinterest is great. You just convert your Pinterest account to a business account, and then you can promote pins. So I think it's worth trying to see what works best for you. Google AdWords is great. It's a little confusing. I actually pay somebody to do it for me. But, I hear from a lot of authors that they can't afford advertising, yet they'll be, playing some silly game on Facebook or talking about going to Starbucks, So if you can spend $400 a month on coffee at Starbucks, then you can spend that money on Google AdWords or Facebook ads and make coffee at home, So it's a matter of priorities.
Oh, totally. Imagine what 400 goes a long way to promoting yourself.
Oh, for sure.
Long way.
For sure. Yeah. Oh,
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I always look at it this way, like whatever royalties I have, I'll put a certain percentage of that back into marketing myself, and you see a good return that way.
Oh yeah, I put everything back into advertising and marketing. I mean, really, and it's all eventually, I mean, this is how the main reason that you have to look at yourself as a business, because you are paying taxes on those royalties, and any expenses that you have with regard to being an author are, to an extent, a write-off. So why not be investing in yourself? You have to be smart about it.
Man, such good advice. Thank you so much, Rachel.
Thank
We're gonna
you.
have to have you on again. We're gonna have to get Wendy and
Love it. And you know who else would be great is my book manager, Melissa Flickinger. She
oh,
is amazing. She's just brimming with ideas, and I love brainstorming with her, and she's great.
yeah, please get us in contact with
I
her.
will.
Our
Yeah.
goal with this podcast was not only to, help other authors out there, but to also, help Emily and I out with, sharing ideas and, stuff like that. So
Sure.
perfect.
Anytime, and then find me on Facebook. I think it would be a great discussion to have, because
Absolutely.
so many authors have questions, and maybe it could lead to blog posts.
Absolutely, that'd be super. We're definitely gonna do that.
Okay, cool.
So we always like to end with a writing, publishing, or marketing tip. What's yours this week, Emily?
All right, so I was thinking about SEO since that's what we were talking
Yeah.
about. There is the Google keyword research tool, and there's a couple of other free keyword research tools where you can type in a word that might be related to what you're writing on your blog or possibly your books, and it'll tell you how many people are searching for that. So you can use that to look up certain words, maybe put different ones and change the order of the keywords you're using to see if that's being searched more. And that's a way that you can optimize easily and for free.
Really good
That's
tip,
it.
Emily. Thank you.
Thank you. How
What
about
about
you?
you? Do you have a? I'm sorry. What did you say, Emily?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, wanted to get your. Do you have a writing tip or publishing or another cool marketing tip to share with us, Rachel?
Well, I'll give you one kind of along those same lines. By the way, I love that tip. That's awesome. I use that tool quite a bit. One thing that was super popular during the 30-day marketing challenge was I had people go to HubSpot, so it's HUB and then SPOT's free website grader.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
Oh my gosh, I got so many people who were like, what does this mean? So on a score of 100, they'll give you, that being the highest score you can get, you type in the URL of your website. So for me, I would be rachelintheoc.com. And within less than a minute, it'll come back and give you a score. And it will tell you what your score is, and then it'll tell you all the ways that you can improve. And it's totally free. So why not check it out and see what your score is? Another great tool is the Alexa ranking on your website. And Alexa is also free. It's owned by Amazon, but that doesn't really mean anything at this point. And it tells you what your score is globally as well as in the US. And it tells you how many sites are linking in. You want to be under 500,000. A lot of sites I find on Blogger are well over 2 to 5 million, and that really has to do with their SEO, which we were talking about earlier. It doesn't really tell you how to improve, so the website grader is a little bit more specific. But those are two really good tools to determine your site and where you are and how you can improve. And that's really eye-opening for a lot of people.
Oh my gosh, it really is like you actually brought to my attention the whole Alexa rating thing. I didn't even know about it. And I
Yeah.
was like, man, I definitely need to work on, getting my rating up for Alexa for my website. And yeah, like already before you even were on here, you've helped me so much.
Oh, good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's awesome.
I always draw a blank when it comes to me about what tip I'm going to give. I really want to give a good writing tip, but it seems like the marketing tips are what comes up more lately. um, so yeah, my tip for this week is going to be a writing tip. Um, I wanted to talk about it's actually a publishing tip, newsletters, and this also goes with marketing. But for every book that you put out there, it's a really good idea to not only leave a little note. I leave a note at the end of my book, like from the writer. If you enjoyed this book, please leave a review on, just asking for that review actually goes a long way versus not asking because a lot of people will finish the book and just put it away and never think about reviewing it. But if you put a personalized note that it's very helpful with you know um, encouraging other people to try the book that you loved. Just put a few lines on Amazon or wherever you purchased it.
Mm-hmm.
I see a lot. I see that helping a lot now that
Yeah.
I've put that on there. I can't remember where I got the idea. What other author gave me this idea? I know Kay Webster does that a lot. She's really good about putting a disclaimer before her stories because they're dark, very dark,
Mhm.
and she wants you to know, like, if you're not into that, just, you know, go read something else. And asking for that review at the end. So that's a really good thing to do for everyone. Also, make sure you put your a link to your newsletter at the end of your book as well. Because
That's a good
newsletters
idea.
are, yeah, they are like pretty much the most important marketing platform out there. It's, getting permission to enter someone's very personal email, and they're more inclined to open that versus any other thing out there.
Yeah,
There
good
you
point.
go.
That's a good one.
Thank you. It was such a pleasure to have you today, Rachel. We cannot wait
Thank
to
you.
chat with you offline, get you on here again, and we'll definitely put all of your links, all of your social media on the website along with um, this video, and we'll put up your links to your books as well.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome. Uh, so thanks for being on, and we will see you guys next Sunday at thewriteasylum.com. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.